Hey YouTube. I wanted to talk a little bit today about FOMO, or fear of missing out, in tarot and astrology. And this is sort of a follow-on in some ways to a video I did recently about, well, I don't know when this is going to post, so recently from when I'm filming this. I'll try to remember to put a card up there. But a video I did about my fear of an unrecorded tarot pull. I had a kind of breakthrough last night when I was journaling about this, and with some work I've done around Lindsay Mack's Tarot for What Is course, where I sort of was exploring the fear of missing out that I can have if I don't write down a tarot pull, and how that relates to my trust in my own intuition and belief in general, like belief that things will come back around, or even like an abundance mentality. Like in some ways I think FOMO is rooted in a scarcity mentality, because if you don't believe that there's enough, if you don't believe that you can have enough, then it's really scary to miss something. And I think a lot of people have this, and I wanted to talk about it a little bit. Not just in the context of tarot, but also astrology. Because one thing I've noticed is that a lot of times astrologers, to, kind of be like, hey, look at this, like, highlight this, they'll talk about, this transit is not going to happen for another 120 years, or like, this won't come back around until you're 75, highlighting the rarity of a particular transit. Which I don't think is wrong or bad. I mean, it is interesting to know. But I think I had been taking that and being like, oh shit, like I've got to work with the energy of this transit. And if I didn't, like feeling kind of guilty, or like, oh, I missed it. Like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not doing spiritual practice? Like, I'm missing out on the chance. If you're feeling that way, a reminder for both of us that that's not really what astrology is about. First of all, you can't miss a transit. It still happens. Even if you don't actively work with it, it's still occurring. It still may have an effect on you, or it may not. Or you may not know what the effect is. But, astrology is something that we can work with and use the energies to support our magical workings, to support our personal development practice, whatever we want to. But it's not like it'll happen even if you don't. So there's that. There's also, like, astrology is cyclical. Even if a specific transit won't come back around in your lifetime, it's not your only chance to work with the energy of that house or that planet. There will be plenty of other ways in which that area of your life is highlighted astrologically. So if you do find that astrological energy affects you as something you want to work with, there'll be other chances. I have to kind of remind myself that. Even with the moon, which I think is a more obvious, like, it always comes back around, but I was feeling like, oh, I'm not like working with the eclipses, or I'm not working with the moon outside the eclipses, and it's like, no, the moon is going to do its thing for the rest of your life, and it'll be there for you when you're ready to work with it. So that's on the astrology side. And then on the tarot side, some of the readings that I've done recently around that course have been kind of a powerful reminder that the tarot is there for you, and if there's a message that you need to receive, you'll keep getting those cards. Like, if you trust in your reading and your intuition, and like you believe that tarot is a thing that you in some way spiritually connect to, or energetically connect to, if you don't write it down, you're not gonna miss it. And I'm planning, actually, I feel like I've broken past the point where I'm ready for 2020. It's still scary, but I'm ready to try not writing things down, with some exceptions. I am still gonna write down some monthly pulls that I want to work with throughout the month that I want to be able to reference, but writing them down with the goal of being able to refer back and use for the practice, to me, is very different from writing everything down so that at some later date I might be able to analyze the data, which sometimes I do, but let's be honest, often I don't. With all sorts of data in my life, I record it and then I don't ever analyze it. So recognizing that about myself, I can say, what if I record some stuff minimally, but with the specific goal of using that to actually work with it in the month that I'm pulling those cards. Or like if I'm doing a year ahead spread, working with those. I did order, and I don't know if there are any left. I should check before recording this video. And I have no idea when this is going to post. So it may or may not be available, but Power Femme Tarot Crystal does an amazing thing that called a Femcast. It's a 25 card reading. It's for the year. It's really great. I'm sort of like in a transitional relationship with year ahead spreads, but I'm still really excited about getting that one from Crystal for 2020. So if there are some available, go check that out. If they're not, just like put it on your calendar for 21. They come out around like November, and make it up. And there are other amazing readers. City Witch, they do year ahead readings. Everyone does year ahead readings, so you can get one somewhere else. But yeah, for the just like day-to-day regular readings, I'm trying to do more of them in 2020, and also not write them down and just trust that, if I don't remember something or something doesn't like hit with me that it wasn't supposed to, anything that is meant for me will come for me, whether it's by repeating itself enough times that I get it, or whether it is subconsciously absorbed in some way, or whether it is just consciously like a reading that really hits me and then I keep thinking about it, which sometimes happens, and that's much more likely to happen if I'm really engaged with the reading as opposed to focusing on like writing down an interpretation. And so yeah, it's just like for those of us who are both connect spiritually and energetically to these things and also experience FOMO, it's a reminder to like tap back into your core beliefs and to how you see the world, and if you see it similarly to the way I do, then trusting in the idea that whatever is meant for you will come to you when it needs to, and when you need to hear it, and when you're ready to hear it. So that is my intention is to hold that in me for 2020. Feel free to join me in that, and we'll see how we do together. Leave a comment if you have thoughts about this, subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content, and I'll see you in the next video.